Yeah, Tara's my daughter, and yeah, it's counting down right now. So, like, consider us live.
Okay. And then we need to be recording on this side, right?
In theory, it records too.
This one. That way we have it in the cloud.
Hello, everybody.
Recording in progress.
I am not in the spotlight, but Angel, do you want to start that off?
I can put you in the spotlight too. So we are here at the second day of the REI Rock Summit. We do these twice a year. This is the one in March. We do another one in September. And we are super excited to begin the day with an amazing masterclass on marketing. So right now, what's going on? Right now, things are kind of sucking, right? It's tough. It's hard to get traction. It's hard to get people around you. It's hard to get investors. It's just hard right now. And Kathy is a master at marketing, and she is going to be sharing with us for the next 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. And we get to pick her brain. So if you're on the live stream and you want to get over here on the live side, you need to say something in the chat, and we will make sure you get the link so that you can get the VIP subscription and you can join us over here, because this is some awesome stuff and you do not want to miss it. So Dan, do you want to add to, or?
Sure. So we've got this live stream going through over on that computer over here. I got a second computer here. This is utter chaos. And yeah, we always do the REI Rocks reviews at 11 a.m. We always watch at 1.5 times speed. Kathy, unlike myself, is 100% human. And so that means she won't be speaking at 1.5 times speed. So I apologize for that. I'm sure she'll make up with her bubbly and charming personality. But be sure to log in at 11 a.m. Eastern every Friday to see what we're up to. So this is awesome. So Kathy, you ready to take it away?
Yeah, so good morning, everybody. So glad to be on here. Thank you guys for hosting. Just wanted to do an audio check. Can you guys hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so let me share my screen here. Oh, can someone give me hosting?
That's my fault.
No worries.
There you go. That should work now.
Okay. Let's see. All right, guys. So we're talking about marketing today and building your brand in the commercial real estate space. So once again, my name is Kathy Jang. A little bit about myself as we get started. So I am the founder of Diamond Point Homes. So right now I have roughly $130 million assets under management, syndicating in Phoenix and Tucson. I live and breathe in Phoenix, Arizona, and I started syndicating actually out in Kansas City and still have properties out there. Right now, I do hold about 2,000 multifamily units, and that's for both from a LP perspective and a GP perspective. On top of Diamond Point Homes, I also am part of Vertical Street Ventures. I do marketing for them. And with Vertical Street Ventures, they are a larger company. They have $300 million of assets under management. They have 5 full cycle projects, and their focus is in similar geographies, Phoenix, Tucson, and the property out in Dallas as well. Outside of the syndication business, Vertical Street Ventures also has 2 additional verticals. So they have an academy where they are teaching students how to syndicate. And it also has a CPA business, which is focused specifically on real estate accounting. All right, so why am I doing this? It's really about family for me. So I, as I mentioned, currently live in Phoenix. I have 2 sons, young sons at that. They're 2nd and 4th grade, and we also have 2 Labrador puppies. And what I am passionate about, so achieving financial freedom has been a total game changer for me and for my family. And so my mission and my passion is to really help other people also achieve financial freedom. And just my lifelong passion has been giving back to the community. So being financial free has allowed me to be able to grow my impact. And I'm really thankful that it has been able to allow me to support causes that I greatly believe in as well. All right, so why are we talking about today. So why is it important to build and establish your brand? So Rory Vaden, a personal brand coach, has said 74% of Americans are more likely to trust someone with an established brand. So that's all about your reputation, right? So that means when there's a higher requirement for trust. So we're talking about like if you are a syndicator, for example, doctor, lawyer, financial advisor, all of these things, your personal brand really matters. So that means a lot of your customers, your investors are going to be looking up referrals, going to be looking up reviews to understand more about who you are personally. They want to know, about you, what you believe in, what are you doing on the weekends, all of that great stuff. So it's really important to make sure that your personal brand is out there and that you're communicating your values. All right. And 82% of Americans are more likely to purchase from a company if they recognize the founders and align with their values. So that's why it's super important to help people understand what you stand for. So we're talking about, like, if you think about founders such as A Cosmetics, Jamie Kern-Lima, she's a favorite of mine, right? So a lot of people that follow her brand know that she had really fought rosacea as a person. So she had red spots all over her skin. And that's part of her story of why she created A Cosmetics. And people that know her story really value what she has brought to help people feel more comfortable in their skin. So another very important factor to consider when you want to build and establish your brand. So there are 4 things that I wanted to really kind of dig deep in marketing your brand and why it is important. So let's take Coke, for example. Everybody knows about Coke, and Coke is so great about creating awareness around their brand. And how did they do that? They have consistent branding. Their logo is iconic, and people know it by also the red color that they use. They also have very strategic partnerships. So let's say, they partner with the Olympics, right? Do you remember back in the day for the Winter Olympics, they had polar bears drinking Coca-Cola, very memorable partnerships. And they sponsor major events like the Olympics. So if we take that into consideration with the commercial real estate space and translate it over to what we are doing, that means when you're looking to establish your brand, your website, your socials, try to keep within consistent branding. So that means the colors that you're using. Try to make sure that you're just consistent in all of the touch points, whether it's your website, your socials, whether it's your emails to the investors. All of that is really important to keep in mind when you're trying to build awareness around your brand. Building credibility. So credibility in terms of being trusted, being believed in by your investors. For Coca-Cola in particular, they built their credibility in the consistency of their products, the consistency of their taste, their quality. If you translate that over to real estate space, that could be credibility in getting back to your investors in a timely manner. For me, I like to try to respond to all of my investor inquiries within 24 hours. So they know that they can rely on me, right? So it can translate over in different ways and how you interact with your investors. Coca-Cola also has really strong relationships with their various partners, such as their suppliers, distributors, retailers, and they also have a long-standing history. So great things to continue to keep in mind. Number 3, they established a very positive reputation. How did they do that? They connected the consumers in a very emotional and memorable way. So how do we translate that into real estate, right? So I rely a lot on social media, LinkedIn specifically. And with that, I tell a lot of stories through my posts to make sure that I am not just educating people, but also telling them about who I am and the stories that might connect with them emotionally as well. And I'll go more in depth in that in a little bit. Number 4, they showcasing your competitive edge. So with them, they have such a unique and recognizable identity. And also they have campaigns that really resonate with the consumers for those emotional connections that I mentioned about earlier. So as we establish our brands with our investors and with just within the industry, you got to continue to remember to bring your uniqueness as an individual, because our industry as a whole can be seen as a lot of commodity, right? Like multifamily is multifamily. A lot of the metrics and returns that we're able to provide to our investors are not that different from other people out there. But what's unique is yourself, what you bring to the table, the values that you bring, and how you connect with your investors is your competitive edge. With all that being said, though, how do we start? Where do we start? 4 things, 4 recommendations that I have. Number 1, really important, because I think a lot of people, when they start in this industry, jump right in, they spit out some websites and get socials up and all of that. But I think to expedite your growth in building your customer base, you really want to be focused and keyed in on a very specific target audience. You should ask yourself questions like what I have here. So what's the age range for your idea persona? Is it a very young individual versus old? Because the way that you tell your story and the way that you want to connect with the different age groups will differ. Is there a specific gender that you want to target? Levels of education, so on and so forth. Why is it important to really key in on a specific target audience? Because it really helps you be focused on your messaging, your strategy. So the more focused that you can be, the more that you're going to be able to resonate and connect emotionally with your target audience. So with a deeper emotional connection, you're able to dig in, better understand your customers' needs, their wants, any pain points that they might have, and it helps really build that trust and loyalty that I spoke about earlier. You could talk about shared values also. So with the shared values, you can highlight your company's values, beliefs, and really just resonate with your target audience. And differentiation, again, this is where the competitive edge comes in. Showcase your unique capabilities here. So Rory Vaden, that personal brand coach I mentioned about a little bit earlier, had a powerful quote that really resonated with me. He said, "You are most powerfully positioned to serve the person that you once were." So for me, that makes a lot of sense, because it allowed me to impact people better, because I knew exactly what they're going through, because I was once in their shoes. So I wanted to give you kind of a little bit of my own story and how I created and established my target audience. So a little bit about my story. So for years on end, I did what everyone had told me to do to set myself up for a good life. So I was told, get those good grades. So I got those good grades. I got straight A's. I took all the AP classes I possibly can. I nerded out really bad. I got into an undergraduate school at UC Berkeley, graduated from the Hall School of Business, and got that great job that I thought, hey, I think I nailed it. I was a Big Four consultant at Deloitte and KPMG. After a few years there, went to graduate school like most people were recommended to do. So I went to Northwestern Kellogg School of Management. Coming out of that, I went into medical device marketing. Again, a solid, high-paying, very stable job. And what I did was what was recommended to me. I maxed out my retirement contributions as much as I humanly could. So, I did what everyone told me I needed to do to set myself up for a good life. But for some reason, it just I didn't feel complete. I felt like there was something missing. I did not want to wait until I was 65 to retire. And even if I were to retire at 65 with my W-2 wages, I personally wasn't sure if that would be enough money for me and my family to live off of when I retired. I didn't have any control over my retirement funds at that time. I also had kids at this point in life, and I wasn't able to spend the time that I wanted to spend with them, unfortunately. And that was a big thing for me. That was a huge thing. it just wasn't, I wasn't feeling fulfilled. And no matter if I was spending time with my kids, I was torn because I felt like I should be working. If I was working hard, I was torn because I felt like I should be spending time with my kids. It just felt like I was in survival mode for years, just really trying to make it day by day, just getting through life. And at this point, a lot of my investments, almost all of it, I should say, was in stocks. But with stocks, there wasn't much cash flow. It was incredibly volatile, and also not recession resilient. So I really dug in deep to understand why I wasn't feeling fulfilled. And I started to understand it was because my situation had changed. I think when earlier on in my 20s, I was fine with dedicating my life to my work. But as I got older, having kids, I just wanted something different. I was in a different stage in my life. And I wanted more time to myself than I was able to with my W-2 job. And I wanted to find a way to be able to better control my time in a way that I felt fit for my priorities. So this was when I started to really build my passive income streams. So I started off not in multifamily, but actually in single family homes. And I think a lot of us do start off in single family homes. I started off, unfortunately, in my backyard. I was living in the Bay Area at this time, and don't necessarily recommend people to follow same suit with me here, but that was just what I felt more comfortable with at that point in time in my life. And so we had single family rentals, a handful of them in the Bay Area. And, I really love the idea of creating passive income, having checks come through monthly that were not specifically and always tied to the time. But I do have to say with single families, I did spend more time than I wanted on there. There's a lot of paperwork and administrative work that was also tied to it. But one of the great things that I did enjoy was that I was able to take my kids on this journey with me. And so as we prepared for new tenants, they were there to help clean the place, or as we were preparing to sell the properties, they were there to help us fix up the places as well. It was great to be able to take them on that journey with us. But eventually I came to a point where I spoke with my CPA. I was getting overwhelmed with the single family homes. We had several in the Bay Area. And when we started to know more and learn more, we understood that cash flow in other states were a lot higher. So we had expanded to single family homes in other states like Alabama as well. But it was starting to get overwhelming. It was a lot of time and attention that we had to put on all of these individual roofs, right? And so, I spoke with my CPA and said, hey, can you help me run the numbers? I understand that there is something called the real estate professional designation. And I asked him if it made sense for me to quit my job. And what we found out actually was that my take home pay at the end of the day was higher if I had quit my job because of the tax savings that we had. We did have a lot of bonus depreciation from cost segregation that accumulated over time. At this point, I had started also dabbling in passively investing in multifamily as well. And at that point, I took a look and understood that although I did enjoy my W-2, don't get me wrong, I loved my team, I loved who I worked with, it made more sense for me and my family to actually quit my W-2. So I retired from my W-2 in my mid-30s and really didn't look back. My W-2 did ask me to stay on as a contractor. And so I said, sure, but it has to be less than 50% of my time because I wanted to qualify for the real estate professional designation. So we did that. It felt comfortable for me as well because I was able to put one foot back into my W-2 in a sense, in case this whole real estate thing didn't work out. So, but in the meantime, I started building my real estate career. And so with that, with quitting my W-2 formally, I was able to get that time freedom that I was looking forward to for so long. And what that meant was when my kids were sick, I didn't feel as guilty to be with them, right? I was able to also volunteer at the kids' events. I love being a part of the school class holidays, being there with Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, you name it, or even just large events at school, to volunteer, participate, and see all of the little kids and how much fun our sons were having. And I was able to finally take my kids to their extracurriculars, to soccer. A lot of times the practice is 3 o'clock in the middle of the afternoon, and there was no way I was able to do that when I had my W-2. So also something that I really deeply believe in was also providing financial education. So for that, not only for my kids, you can see us playing cash flow game there, but also for other people within the community. So I was able to plug in with a local program that I really believe in that helps financially educate students throughout the state of Arizona. And I was also helping my kids with financial education in the sense that we would have books that they would read. We would talk about it. There's a snapshot of my son reading, holding the book, The Richest Kid in Babylon, a great book that Don Spafford had recommended, highly recommended. And I also took our kids on this journey with us for multifamily. So, one of the things that we love to, as a company, to do is to really build community within our multifamily properties. And part of it is celebrations for holidays and things. So we did bag candy for all of our residents for Halloween. And you can see there that our kids are in costume, passing out the little Halloween treats. And we'll take them to our properties also to help clean up the properties. And we've established some businesses for our kids. So we used to have a lot of succulents in backyard. So we would have our kids like pot up the succulents and just, help them create a business of their own by selling the succulents and just have fun with it. But, having this time freedom really allowed me to do what I'm passionate about. And it was really great to be able to financially educate our kids and other kids as well. So now, even though I don't have my W-2 per se, I'm still working really hard. But what I love about it is that it's on my own terms for what I am passionate about. So I love traveling. We're really into RVing. So, we went across Utah to a lot of the national parks there recently, had so much fun. But at the same time, I'm still pursuing my passion, multifamily. So you see on the right side, the picture is of me in an Airbnb closet because I was doing an investor presentation for a new property that we just got under contract for. And it happened that the best Wi-Fi was in that closet. So, although we're having fun, we're also taking care of our responsibilities, but it's on my time, my schedule. And that's why I really love what I'm doing. So all that being said, all of that kind of builds why I decided that I wanted to target an accomplished working mom as my target audience who wants to gain control of her time by achieving financial freedom. Again, I chose that because that was once who I was. I know how she feels to be in her shoes, and I feel like I'm best able to be the guide for the specific target audience because I was in it myself. I was once in that rat race. I was once strapped for time, trading my time for my money. And now I'm in a position where I'm able to be more intentional about my time. So I understand her frustrations. But all that being said, that's why I chose my target audience. And you'll see that through the stories that I tell in my marketing, through whether it's my social posts, my website, my communications, my background story and what I believe in is threaded throughout everything so that everyone that has a touch point with me understands what I stand for, what my values are, what's important to me. That's really helped serve me well because by the time I talk to a prospective investor, they already know a lot about me, and it helps guide the conversation more towards what their needs are, and it saves me and them a ton of time in the end. So I love that we're able to establish that. All right, so number 2, and what do you do to establish your brand? You also want to really define your brand identity. So what is the purpose and mission of your brand? What does your company want to stand for? What's unique about your company, right? These are just some questions that you want to really dig in deep with.
Hey, I'm gonna interrupt real quick. Dan's got his hand up, so he must have something to say.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Which is that, like, this is a great presentation, and you're getting right into the meat and potatoes of strategies and things like that. And that seems to me like a fantastic reason to join the live side. And I don't want to be awful and just go, it's like, hey, now we're getting into strategies, and all these lovely VIPs who are in the audience are just chomping at the bit to find out this stuff. But we can't be giving away the farm. We can't be giving out this great information. I think that people should join us. So make sure I'll put the link in the chat. I just wanted to mention that really quickly. The other thing being that you are watching the normal REI Rocks review session, but it is the REI Rocks Summit right now. So we're live streaming this right now to let you guys know. And so I just wanted to say that real quick. I'm not sure when we want to pull off the live stream, but Angel, do you want to say a couple other things?
I don't know. This is so amazing, and the teacher in me just wants to keep sharing it. But the reality is that we can't, because a lot of people did, in fact, not just pay with their time to be here, but they paid with their wallet too. So we'll give you maybe 5 or 10 more minutes, and then we're going to shut it down. And if you want to be on the live side, you're going to have to get your VIP subscription to get over here with us. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So just visit theacademypresents.com/VIP to go straight into there. You get all sorts of additional amenities, like all the other summit recordings. It's really, really something.
There's like 400 hours of content there.
Right, exactly. But we are here with Kathy Jang. She's sharing about marketing, and she's about to continue on defining your brand identity. Go for it, Kathy.
All right, thank you. All right, so defining your brand identity. So you should be really clear and consistent across all your marketing channels, whether it's your website, your socials, your emails, whatever it might be. You want to define your brand's identity, personality, the values, and unique selling proposition that you bring to the table, and make sure that all the materials that you create really reflect those aspects of the brand. So when I created Diamond Point Homes, the mission really clearly states that I wanted to create multifamily investment opportunities to help busy professionals build their passive income. Again, that's really just what I had really truly believed in, what resonates with my story as well. So one of the things that really I truly believe really propelled me to be able to build and raise for my properties is building that strong online presence. I know Amy Silvas is going to be going over this at 11 o'clock Pacific today in depth, and please, you got to listen and stream and listen to Amy Silvas. She's fantastic when it comes to LinkedIn. She's going to drop a ton of great gems. But I also built my business mainly online. So not to say I absolutely get on phone calls with every single investor, but in order to reach a broader audience and to reach tens of thousands of people at a time,
Okay, that's a really weird angle. But anyway, I got to end this. Thanks a lot for joining. We'll catch you again soon. Bye.